Have you ever felt wronged? As if everything you've done has been ignored by those who should support you? It's a bitter feeling that crushes dreams and suffocates hopes. This was the life of Rhaenyra Targaryen, the princess who was raised to rule, only to have her birthright torn from her ambitious hands. This is the story of a woman who defied all odds, rode dragons, and led armies, only to be betrayed by her own loved ones. Get ready for an epic journey of betrayal, courage, and fire and blood. In the heart of the Red Keep, the great citadel of King's Landing, lived King Viserys I Targaryen, a just monarch, but deeply wounded by the loss of his beloved wife Aemma during the birth of the son he so longed for. From the wreckage of this tragedy was born Rhaenyra, the little princess with violet eyes who would bring hope back to the Seven Kingdoms. From an early age, Rhaenyra was raised under the shadow of an unimaginable weight, the burden of succeeding her father on the Iron Throne. While other girls played with dolls, she sat at the foot of the throne, watching the intricate dance of politics. Her brilliant mind was forged in the heated discussions of the small council, where she learned the complexities of ruling a vast and divided kingdom. In the prime of her youth, Rhaenyra emerged as a stunning vision, silver hair dancing in the wind, violet eyes sparking with determination. She was not just a beautiful princess, but a true dragon rider, mounted on the legendary Syrax. While her peers contented themselves with tournaments and balls, Rhaenyra soared through the skies in a scaly fury, her heart throbbing with the power of the ancient Valyrians. However, clouds of sorrow loomed over the Red Keep when Viserys announced his plan to remarry. Rhaenyra watched helplessly as her new stepmother, Alicent Hightower, gave birth to sons, boys who might one day challenge her for the throne. Tension mounted when Viserys' own brother, the impulsive Prince Daemon, openly rebelled, stealing a precious dragon egg. In an act of reckless bravery, Rhaenyra flew to Dragonstone, her family's ancient fortress on a secluded island. There, she confronted her rebellious uncle, demanding the return of the stolen egg. The fiery flames of Syrax shone in her violet eyes as Daemon refused, daring her to take it by force. At that moment, Rhaenyra realized there was no more room for naivety. She had to embrace her destiny as the rightful heir or risk losing everything. Back at the Red Keep, a grand spectacle unfolded when Viserys summoned all the lords of the Seven Kingdoms. Before the imposing Iron Throne, made from the thousands of swords surrendered by Aegon the Conqueror's enemies, each noble swore loyalty to Rhaenyra as the true heir. It was an overwhelming triumph that seemed to seal her fate as the future queen of the Undulls, the Rhaenyra, and the First Men. However, the winds of betrayal blew strong, hissing through the dark corridors of the Red Keep. As the years passed, Rhaenyra was forced to witness the growth of Alicent's sons, ambitious boys who tarnished the Targaryen name with their intrigues. Viserys himself seemed blind to the conspiracies brewing in his court, consumed by the desire to maintain peace at any cost. In a desperate effort to solidify her claim, Rhaenyra was forced into a political marriage with Ser Laenor Velaryon, heir to one of the wealthiest houses in Westeros. However, this was only a marriage of convenience, as both lovers harbored secret passions for others. Rhaenyra sought solace in the muscular arms of Ser Criston Cole, the very Kingsguard who had sworn to protect her. Their feverish nights of unbridled passion were a refuge from the political torture that surrounded her. The plot thickened when rumors began to circulate about the true father of Rhaenyra's children. Were they the legitimate heirs of her husband Laenor or forbidden fruits of her ardent affair with Criston? The court was divided, factions forming around the green and black colors that symbolized the two sides of the dispute. When Viserys finally breathed his last, King's Landing erupted into chaos. On one side, Rhaenyra, her father's chosen heir, supported by her loyal House Velaryon and dragon riders. On the other, her half-brother Aegon, hastily crowned king by a faction of ambitious nobles led by Criston Cole himself, the betrayed ex-lover. What followed was a catastrophic war known as the Dance of the Dragons. Brother against sister, dragon against dragon, the Seven Kingdoms were torn apart in a myriad of conflicting loyalties. Rhaenyra proved to be a relentless leader, riding Syrax into fierce and fiery battles that left the fields in ruins. However, even her heroic courage was no match for the betrayals that came from within her own inner circle. As the years of bloody conflict dragged on, Rhaenyra saw her children fall one by one, victims of the cruelties of war. Her determination only grew with each wound, transforming the beautiful princess into a woman of steel tempered by the fire of adversity. In the end, only she and her youngest son, Aegon, remained the last hope of her royal lineage. But glory cruelly escaped her, for in the shadows, the final conspiracies unfolded. In an act of supreme betrayal, those closest to Rhaenyra stabbed her in the back, handing her and her young son over to the power-hungry Greens. In her final moments, as her precious royal blood stained the streets of King's Landing, Rhaenyra knew the true extent of human cruelty. At the end of her tragic life, we can only imagine the thoughts that ran through Rhaenyra's mind. Did she wonder if it was all worth it, every sacrifice, every tear shed? Or was her struggle just another lost chapter in the blood-stained annals of history, swept under the rug like so many powerful women before her?